Alright, for Unit 5.5a, we are going to talk about analyzing linear equations. And the way we're going to do this is take our equation and put them into our graphing calculator. So your first step that you're going to do is type the equation into y equals. So the first thing you need to do is hit the y equals button in the upper left-hand corner of your calculator. And in that y1 spot, you're going to type in x plus 4. Once you do that, the second step is you're going to hit the second button. And then the graph button. So that is the upper right-hand corner. You'll see it says table in the yellow above the graph button. When we hit second graph, that gives us our table. And then you can type in any x values you want in that x column. So I typed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 all the way down. So I'm going to just fill in some values here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then my y values that go with those numbers are 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so now we can answer our questions. The first question, as the value of x increases by 1, what happens to the value of y? Let's see, if we start at 1, we have a y value of 5. 2, it goes up 1 to 6. 3, it goes up 1 to 7. So y also increases by 1. Our next question, as the value of x decreases by 3, what happens to the value of y? Well, let's see. Let's start with some x values and then slowly decrease those x values by 3 each time. So I'm going to just start at 12. And then subtract 3, I get 9. Subtract 3, I get 6. Subtract 3, I get 3, and then 0. So I'm going to type in 12 into my x column, and I see I get 16 for y. When I type in a 9, I get 13. So I want you to continue filling these out. What do you get for 6, 3, and 0 in your x column? What is your y? So you should have gotten 6 is 10, 3 is 7, and 0 is 4. So now once we have that information, we can look as the value of x decreases by 3, our y value also decreases by 3. Okay, let's try another equation. So follow our steps. Let's hit y equals, type in 2x minus 1, and then you're going to hit second graph. Now for our first question, as the value of x increases by 1/2, what happens to the value of y? So I'm going to start at 0 for my x and then slowly go up by half. So I have 0, then 0.5, then 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. So I'm going to write these in here now. I've got 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, and 2. Remember, 1/2 is equal to 0.5. So we're counting by 1/2 each time on my x. Then on my y, I'm going to fill in my information. For y, I get 0 is -1. For 1/2, it's 0. 1, I get 1. 1.5, I get 2. And for 2, I get 3. So what happens to our value of y? Y increases by 1. Alright, go from -1 to 0 to 1, 2, 3. I'm going by 1. Now, as the value of x decreases by 2, what happens to the value of y? So just like I did on the last one, when I'm decreasing my x by 2, I'm going to start at a bigger number, so I'll start at 10, then I'm going to go to 8, 6, 4, and 2. Plug those into my x column. So remember, you can change those x values whenever you want to. 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. So let's see, for y I get 19, for 10, for 8 I get 15, for 6 I get 11, 4 I get 7, and 2 I get 3. So let's see, from 19 to 15 I'm subtracting 4. From 15 to 11 I subtract 4. 11 to 7 I subtract 4. 7 to 3 I subtract 4. So it looks like our y is decreasing by 4. So as our x decreases by 2, our y is decreasing by 4. Okay, we've got one more example. I'm going to start at my first step. My first step is to type in this equation into y equals. Now when I do this, now that I have a fraction, when I type this equation in, make sure you are using parentheses for this fraction. It should look like this. 1 divided by 2x plus 2. Okay, so once you get that typed in, you should hit second graph. Now we can plug in some values. My first question is saying, as our value of x increases by 3, what happens to the value of y? So let's start at 0 and just go by 3s. 3, 6, 9, and 12. Let's see what happens to our y. We start at 0, 3, 6, 9, 12. I get 2, 3.5, 5, 6.5, and 8. So let's see, from 2 to 3.5, we are adding 1/2. Then to get from 3.5 to 5, we add 1/2, add 1/2 to get to 6.5, and to 8. So our y increases by 1.5. For the last question, as the value of x decreases by 1, what happens to the value of y? So let's start here at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll decrease our x's by 1. Let's plug those in and see what we get. Okay, 5 we get 4.5. 4 we get 4. Then 3.5, 3, and 2.5. Looks like our y is going down by 0.5 each time. We're subtracting 0.5 each time our x goes down by 1. So our y decreases by 0.5.